December 1st, where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What we on? Episode 52. What you're listening to. It's going to be a great show. We've been having a good time before the cameras got rolling. Pat's back. Daniel's back. At short notice. Thanks for coming on, Daniel. It's really appreciated.
Yeah,
we know you've had an insanely busy time recently, so thanks for coming on. Eric's back down in the basement.
Why? Second floor. I'm upstairs.
Oh, really? It just has a basement-ish kind of tinge.
It does feel very basement-y in here.
Thanks for coming on. It's good to see everyone. I'm excited for the show. We each got 5 records. Let's do the housekeeping. Like and subscribe. Where is it? There it is. There you go.
Do we do this? Do we point?
Yeah, if you'd like to. Oh, yeah, there you go. like and subscribe if you want to. You don't have to, but there you go. The chat's open. Hopefully there'll be some people watching. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Audience is important as usual. We'll probably have some questions for people who are watching. If we don't know something, we'll be relying on you to tell us, fill in the gaps. That's about it. Should we get going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. What we drinking tonight?
Oh, yes.
You can see that, right?
Guinness?
Fucking Guinness. You and all
Guinness.
those boys.
Guinness in the... Is that a left-hand glass? Left-hand brewery?
A left-hand pint?
No, it's not a left-hand pint. It's like the name... Oh, no. It's a Guinness. It's a proper Guinness glass. Okay. Good. There you go. All right. Let's get going. So, for my first pick of the night, I've got like a simple yes or no question. Hopefully, it will kind of go beyond just a simple yes or no. So let me say what the question is, and then we can all answer accordingly. My question is, do you remember Putrid Fever?
I know.
See, nobody remembers Putrid Fever. I knew it. Italian? Yes.
What era? What timeline?
So if you can see...
You remember Putrid Fever.
If you can see closely, the jacket... This is why I bought this, because it has like all the pictures of all like... or most of the classic mid-80s, early 80s, like Italian hardcore records. It's Declino, Negazione, Nabat, Cani, what else? Wretched, CCM. It's got all the classic records on it.
Sounds pretty good.
Well, this is a band from that era who maybe are not in that tier of bands, or they're not that well known, but this is a fucking great band. And I guess this is like their entire discography. And there it is. Demo tape, a 7-inch. The 7-inch was on Belfagor. Like Belfagor was a kind of classic Italian hardcore label. Right? What do they put out? Like CCM 7-inch they put out. And
yeah, I think I have the Putrid Fever 7-inch. Is it yellow?
It's yellow. It is yellow, man. Yeah. And actually, this is the reissue of this is also yellow. They used the 7-inch artwork for the reissue of this. This is like the first edition of this. This compilation. It's great. It's like pre-FOAD years, so it's like flimsy. It's just a single LP. There's no like bonus double LP with rehearsals and stuff on it. You know, it's just yeah, that's a good one. You know, Chain Reaction. That's a good one too. Yeah,
it's not a 5 LP box set.
No, it's a single LP. Runs for about 30 minutes or so. Just got all the hits on it. Yeah, it's like furious Italian hardcore from what they call the furious years, right, of Italian hardcore. And I think
that band name, I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't like it, but I just really like that band name.
It's a weird name, yeah. There's a few weird names. Blue Vomit is another one, right, that were around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But when was that released, Mike?
This thing itself is a mid-90s thing. All the music comes from 84 and 85. Like the 7-inch that Daniel mentioned, and the demo tapes and a compilation tape, which I think came out on BCT, Bad Compilation Tapes, the classic like tape label back in the day. But the thing that struck me about this record when I was listening to it, I was like, man, you know what? This kind of reminds me of CCM a little bit. That was like the closest comparison, and I was listening to it. And as I got like through to side 2, I was like, hang on, this even sounds like the singer of CCM, like Sid. And I looked at the back, and he actually sings on 2 songs.
Oh,
So my original like feeling of them being like a kind of CCM sounding band was kind of correct, I guess. But like, just to suddenly hear him come out of the speakers, I was like, oh damn, that's crazy. Yeah.
It's funny, when I was looking at records to pick earlier, I recently listened to the CCM I Refuse It 12-inch, and I was like, should I bring that? It's like, no, I'll bring something. Yeah.
There you go. I didn't know that, actually. The drummer was in CCM too. There you go. And another little tidbit, which I think will excite people, like the main guy in this band, the guitarist, went on to be in Toxic Reasons, like after he quit this band.
Huh.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah,
right?
That is weird.
Fefo is his name. He's like one of the... I mean, when did Toxic Reasons form? Like before this, right? Early 80s?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
maybe even like the 70s, right?
Yeah, so he must have joined them, I guess, like mid to late 80s, I guess, But anyway.
Yeah, I wonder like what album.
Let us know in the comments. I should have checked that out. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, it's just one of the things that stood out to me on the liner notes. In fact, it's the last thing. It's like, yeah, he joined the famous group Toxic Reasons after Putrid Fever broke up. So there you go.
I feel like if Jeff was here,
put an Italian flag in their logo.
Right.
I feel like if Jeff was in the watching right now, he'd be typing away, letting us know. He would know that.
I feel like
Doing right now anyway.
He would. I feel like I saw them around like 88, 89, 90.
Really?
So I'm wondering if this guy was in the band when I saw them in Bristol, in England. I saw them. So yeah.
Who do they play with?
You know what? I think they played with Sloppy Seconds. I think they weren't very good, actually. It was I mean, one of them had like an eye patch on and like leather trousers and stuff, and it was a little rough era for them, I want to say. But yeah,
they definitely lose me somewhere in the middle era.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost Pat. There we go.
Which way do I go? Oh, there we go. We lost Pat.
Pulled around.
Yeah.
But it was his turn too. Or was it his turn?
All right. That's my first pick. Furious Italian hardcore. Forgotten. Hence the title, maybe. Do you remember Putrid Fever? So check it out.
It's out there. Listen to that 7-inch. I haven't listened. I really don't even remember what it sounds like.
Exactly. But it's good. They're a good band. They were a good band. Only around for a couple of years, I feel like if they'd have stayed around and made an LP, they would have been remembered more. They were still kind of developing,
Yeah.
But yeah. There you go. All right. I guess, Daniel, you're up next, surprisingly. Oh, right. Hang on. He's back.
He's back?
The suicidal maniac.
I don't know what just happened. Did you lose me?
Just for a second, yeah. But you've been demoted.
Oh, we're gonna switch order now.
All right, Daniel, what's your first pick of the day?
All right. I'm gonna go with this. I'm curious if anybody has any thoughts. This is gonna be the next release on Sorry State. Actually, we have it sitting at all the vinyls in house. So I've been listening to it a bunch, like kind of preparing to like write the description and all that. But it's kind of a left turn for the label. It's not we've been releasing a lot of like really straightforward hardcore lately, I feel like. But we're releasing the new album from Knowso from Cleveland. It's called Pulsating Gore.
Wow.
I've heard of that band, but I don't think I've ever listened to it.
Yeah, they have several records, and then they sort of come from this universe of groups that those other bands also have big discographies. There was a band called Kruelty, and then Perverts Again.
Is it the same people? Will sum up?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how the membership overlaps, but I think the main guy, Nathan Ward, who also does all of this like really distinctive art, I think he does comic books and stuff. I really like his music, but I don't know as much about his art. But all these bands are like super amazing. They're all from Cleveland, and they definitely have a lot of Cleveland in their sound, like specifically Devo, like that sort of herky jerky rhythms. I was talking to Nathan like about what we were going to say about the record, and he was saying his philosophy is tight drums, loose guitars. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to even, like, figure out what exactly that means. But
if you have tight drums, you can do like almost anything on any other instrument. Your band will be like good.
Yeah,
I think
it's very true. And they definitely do that Devo thing of having lots of like strange accents and time signatures and stuff. But I think their songs are really good, and they really stick in your head. But the lyrics are really like what gets me for this band. Nathan was telling me about how, like, what went into doing this record, and he was saying that I guess he like did too many mushrooms one time and had a like psychedelic break with reality, and in the middle of that, he's a long haul truck driver. A lot of the songs are about that on here, and he was trying to unionize his workplace, so he was like leading this movement at his work that's like very serious, and he said it was like meaningful work but like very difficult. The company was like very much against the union, so he's sort of like losing touch with reality but going through this like really sort of intense political and emotional thing, and it all adds up into this like weird psychedelic thing. It's like it's a really good record. It's the kind of thing, their sound is so distinctive that if you listen to it for 30 seconds, you're going to be like, this is for me or this is not for me. But it's
I'm very interested to see where I will fall on that.
Me too.
I feel like you could go either way. Mike, I bet you would like it. Patrick, you would hate it.
I think the artwork was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's he does all these crazy illustrations. It's that's a big part of it, and the LP comes with a big illustrated poster with like all the lyrics, and everything's hand illustrated by Nathan. It's like a pretty nice package. But I guess that's like a sales pitch basically. But but I really buy it. It's out.
Buy it. When's it coming out?
We haven't decided that yet, because like we have another record arriving on, or two more records arriving on Monday, and like I'm like, should I we put them all out at the same time? Maybe that makes sense. I don't know.
Do you not think that like records that come out like around this time of year like get overlooked a little bit?
Of course they do. Like, right? And I feel like you always get stuff back from the plant this time of year. I think like, I don't know if their workload decreases this time of year or something, but I feel like so many releases drop like December, January, and it's a terrible time.
Yeah, and I guess like these days with the internet and everything, people want to make their end of year lists, which they start working on in November, and they want to publish those, and then all these other records come out in like in the middle of December, and they get left off.
Yeah, for sure.
Which people shouldn't have to release records to satisfy internet journalists' end of year record lists, but
I feel like that's not really Sorry State's crowd anyway.
Right.
Not getting reviewed on Pitchfork, probably. So.
Daniel,
looking forward to it.
Do they play live? Like, what kind of shows do they?
I mean, I think like they're definitely. I think they're connected to like all of the weird sort of Cleveland punk, whether that's like Woodstock 99 or all the like post-homo stupids bands. And, I think they're like younger than those people, but they definitely have that like unique Cleveland thing going on. So I've seen them play shows with lots of those types of bands.
Is there a gong on it?
There's no gong on this record, sadly. Yeah, Woodstock 99 have a new album too. Like, we're just sending that off to the plant.
Oh, fuck yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's weird as hell.
No gong on
that.
Beautiful. Looking forward to it. All right, Pat, what you got? What's your first pick? What's your first pick of the day?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a short, sharp shock.
Go ahead.
Can't say.
Hit me with it.
Anti-Bofors.
Oh.
Reflection here. I feel like this is kind of similar to one of the records I showed last time. That Bomb and Fall.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I don't know. I've been listening to this a lot. It's similar in a lot of ways to that record. I feel like the early 90s. I think this came out in 91. This band, I don't know if you'd say they turned into, but some of the members, or maybe all of them actually, they all went on to form Dysphere.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, so typical Swedish hardcore 7-inch, like blank labels, really flimsy cover. I kind of like this one. It's a little bit weird. It's typical, like, maybe not typical, but another collage where you probably guess what this sounds like or what this could sound like. But I don't know. Have you guys ever given this one a chance? I know a lot of people. They same with like the first Dysphere 7-inch. A lot of people haven't heard it. They just know the LPs and stuff, or they skip this. I don't think it's ever really bootlegged or reissued, which is kind of surprising.
I've seen that record at Asman's house, but I don't think I've ever heard it.
I've definitely heard it. I think I might have owned it at some point. It might have been a record that when did that come out? 91, you say? 91?
Yeah, 91.
91. Okay, then yes. That would probably be a record that I sold when I moved to Japan. Absolutely.
It's funny because it's like typical. I hate to say typical, but like Swedish D beat from the time. For the most part, it's played really well, but it's a little bit different. It's kind of like what's the band? The Disc Machine, the band that plays blast beats sometimes. There's a song on here that it's not quite a blast beat, but it's like a really fast, like 1-2-1-2 beat that kind of mixes it up a little bit. And then I think the song after that is like basically you can tell they were listening to Doom at the time. It's like basically the same riff for Means to an End.
Oh,
which is kind of funny, but it's a different song. But
that's a good one to pilfer because it's one of Doom's best songs, I would say.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like pilfering from a band that was like a new band at the time.
Right.
Like it seems kind of obvious. I don't know. I don't know what people were listening to then. If that's just something that would have been like Doom was overlooked for a while, but like if that would have been, nobody would have noticed. But when that song comes on, it's like, oh, that sounds like that Doom song. But
hey, speaking of that song, does somebody covers that song? Is it Heresy? Means to an End?
I think so. I don't know.
I was trying to.
I wouldn't be surprised if they recovered it.
I have a feeling. I know for a fact that that scene of like non-crusty bands, particularly Heresy, were not particularly huge fans of the UK crust scene. So they might have a little breakdown in a song that kind of sounds a bit like that.
Man, I swear someone covers that song like around the time that the song came out, and I cannot remember.
The Doom song, right?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments. I can't answer that question.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out. Can't remember.
That record looks, that Anti-Bofors record, it looks, and the name, it just seems like it came out in 1981 and not 1991.
Yeah, I can see that. Look at the font on the back. It's pretty.
And just the name of the band being in Swedish and stuff, and all the Swedish. It wasn't like this.
It's too bad. It's too bad because there's an insert in here, and I think their little logo in the insert is like, I like how the front cover looks, but if they put this on the back,
yeah.
I think that's pretty. I mean, it looks kind of like Anti-Cymex or something.
There you go. I was going to ask what label that was on, actually.
I think they did it themselves. It just says no record. So I'm sure there's a lot of bands out here. Like I'm sure in Sweden, people now like I would guess that Svaveldioxid, those guys, very much hold this record in very high regard, as well as like this is a big influence on a bands like Fronted. So it's like that same, again, not to just bring up Bomb and Fall again. That was a few years earlier, I think 87. But this is just one of those records that just kind of sounds kind of ignorant, like it wasn't quite the early 80s anymore. It's a little bit heavier, like just the recording itself, and it's like a post Anti-Semix, like early 90s Sweden.
Honestly, it sounds sick. It sounds like something I would like, probably.
If you like Dysphere, those early Dysphere records. Not the when I first heard Dysphere, it was in the early 2000s, and I heard one of those reunion records, and I never wanted to hear Dysphere again. I thought that stuff was bad. It was only way later that I went back and gave the old stuff a chance, and was like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like the real deal, not Mellow Death or whatever.
I mean, I got into Dysphere in the La Vida reissue days. Was when I was first really introduced to them. So later in life.
All right, I'm gonna recheck that one out. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've given that one a spin. All right, Eric, what you got? What's your first record?
All right. So as I told y'all off air, it's been a busy week, and I pretty much grabbed all the records I needed on the fly. So I wanted to just choose records that I could either speak to and like know what I'm talking about, or that are like I'm really just kind of doing a show and tell a little bit. Like I'm like, this is really fucking cool, and you should see it. So some of these aren't like crazy surprises. It's something we all know or whatever. So what I have today is this, The Adolescents. But we all know it, and we all love it, and everything else. I bought this at Sorry State Records when I worked there. But what's cool and special about this is, I mean, Daniel, I don't even know if you knew this when you sold it to me, that it's got these cool special notes on here from Rick Agnew and Steve Soto. And like you can see, like let me show you something. Okay. On the back of this record, it's like a Rick Agnew signature. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, damn.
It has a gold piggy that he signs it with. And some guy named Bill in York, Pennsylvania.
I know whose record that was.
Really?
Yes, I bought Bill's records.
There you go.
There you go. Wow.
This specifically, and then Steve Soto also says, to Web of Sound Records, keep up the good work supporting the indies. Thanks a lot, Steve Soto.
Wow.
I don't know. It's so cool. And then Rick Agnew does the same fucking thing again. I don't know if he signed his name all the time with this cool skull guy. I was thinking about what to show today, and like I said, this is quite literally just kind of show and tell. It's like, look at this cool thing I have, you know?
Yeah, that's badass.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces in my collection, and I think it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
So who is Daniel? Did you meet Bill?
Oh yeah. I think he. If I'm remembering all this correctly, I went to see his band in Raleigh because he had like a bunch of cool records, and he was from Pennsylvania. I remember I got the Follow Fashion Monkeys LP from him. I've been looking for that for a long time. Like Russian Meat Squats and all that.
All the classics.
Yeah, Pennsylvania hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, those are cool records.
Yeah.
His band, I don't think was that great, sadly, but
I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Bill? What's his surname?
It's like
just the guy with the records.
It's just Bill Haas is coming on next week, and I'm not. It's not Bill Haas, right?
No.
Right.
Man, I don't think I could afford Bill Haas's record. he He has all the crazy rare misfit stuff.
He does, yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm trying to sell this record for $10,000. Yeah, I was going to say, Eric and I, we did a adolescence cover band for Halloween one year.
That's right. We also did that.
Oh, wow.
It was very, very fun.
There's a video of that on YouTube too. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I think we kicked
What were you dressed as that year for Halloween?
Was I who?
What were you dressed as for Halloween that year?
Oh, I was like, we were like, Jet and I were like flowers with sunglasses. Yeah. I had these like giant petals coming from my head, and when I was playing, it like, flopped the whole time.
I remember I was in a big penguin costume, but the like flippers went around over my hands, and I couldn't play drums, so I had to put the flippers back and duct tape them.
Man, I was listening to the Rick Agnew solo record last night. That's another classic. It's funny. You've seen it right on the back. It's like Rick Agnew vocals, Rick Agnew guitars, Rick Agnew bass, Rick Agnew drums, Rick Agnew keyboards. Like he had to like, it's hilarious.
Did they ever do a second album? Like I have no idea.
They've done tons of records, right? The Adolescents after that.
Yeah, their second one was Brats and Battalions.
That's it. That one's okay, right? It's decent.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of good songs on it for sure.
I probably haven't listened to that record since I was a teenager.
Well, you're fucking missing out because I still
doubting
listen
that it's not good. It's one of those things like I haven't. I wanted to say I haven't heard Minor Threat in a decade, but that's not true. But
and also that would be a mistake. Honestly, Minor Threat's one of the best punk bands of all time. I listened to Minor Threat the other day too.
Adolescence is one of those ones where it's such a classic that like you rarely pull it out. It's just it's a classic and classic, and it's like you rarely pull it out because it's like it's just you don't need to because it's like it's kind of etched in there, right? So classic. While I'm switching gears for my next record, I'm interested in seeing that this band kind of came up in the chat like 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember why it came up. They came up, and that kind of piqued my interest, and I ended up finding their new record it already used, which let's just leave that thought there for a little bit. It's a Japanese band, in fact, from Tokyo, and man, I've been having like such a fun time with this record, and I don't necessarily think it's supposed to be a fun record. In fact, I know it isn't. But man, it's such a fun record for me to listen to. So if you get on like Discogs, they're described as a Japanese doom, death metal, beatdown, hardcore band from Tokyo. So there's a lot of things going on there. But then you go on their Facebook page and they describe themselves as simply disgusting music from Tokyo. So let's go with disgusting music from Tokyo. Anyone know what I'm talking about? It's new. It's just come out.
What label is it on?
Profound Law.
I don't know.
They're pretty well known, but they've toured the States like a whole bunch of times, and they're really active band, and they play with hardcore bands. They play with death metal bands. I'm talking about this band Kruelty with a K.
Oh, okay. I've heard of them. Yeah.
Untopia.
That's a band that's popular here amongst like the more, I call it professional hardcore.
I was going to get to that because I posted a description about this. I think what I said was like it's a bunch of guys who are like into bolt thrower, but also dress in sportswear kind of things. Like
hardcore.
But like it's so good. It's like so well done. I can't stop listening to it. It's so like primitive. I've seen some reviews in the metal press like complaining because it's like it's so simple. Like we wish they'd like do more. And I'm like, no, it's like perfect as it is. It's just like the drums aren't very good, but I mean he keeps the beat. There's no like mistakes in there or anything.
It's fast, right?
No, it's super slow. It's like the whole album is like a bolt thrower breakdown. Like 70% of the record is like a bolt thrower breakdown or like a death doom band like Hooded Menace or something like that. but with these kind of like beatdown sensibilities. Like I don't listen to beatdown hardcore, so I don't actually really know what it sounds like. But I went back and listened to like Bulldoze and stuff like that. Yeah, Bulldoze sounds like hilarious. Bulldoze sounds like, I don't know, like ELO or something after like listening to that. It's super filthy. The production is like disgusting. They got like this just. Oh man! I mean, like I said, I've been having such a good time with this record. It's just like a constant like a bolt thrower breakdown for like 70 minutes. It's insane. It's an insane.
That sounds good.
Hardcore bands are doing that now.
Like, I mean, anything, for that long.
The metallic hardcore scene, the procore scene. I feel like it's like they heard bolt thrower and then they just want to do a stupid version of a bolt thrower riff.
This is not stupid. But again, it is stupid in a way. It's like ignorant, and it's like I've seen reviews of stuff. They made this record on like purpose, like to kind of create like the endless mosh pit or something. So I'm like, I'm never going to go and see this band play live. Probably, it's not my thing.
Probably be fun.
Maybe, but I mean, I know I'm 56 years of age. I don't need to see this. It's like. Man, and another thing I want to say, if anyone's into like Zenigawa, remember that band?
What is it?
Zenigawa, like classic Japanese noise rock band, who are probably one of the heaviest bands that like ever existed. They had a couple of records on Alternative Tentacles, which are just like, absolutely mind blowing. But the singer of Kruelty sounds a little bit like the singer of Zenigawa. He's just like barking at you in this like monotone, over and over and over again. He very rarely like does anything different. It's like the same thing like over and over and over again. It's like it just works really well. So yeah,
I'm surprised that's in Profound Lore, to be honest. I didn't know that they had an album. I like that label, or at least some of the stuff on that label. But I would have thought that band made a deal with Triple B Records or something.
You know what? I know what you're saying, but it's not. It's like it's more like Death Doom than that.
No, I get that. Like. Because they played here a few times already recently in the last year. I think they
have they.
Yeah, they play a lot in the States, right? They
came to town. Who did they play with?
They came. This will tell you, Eric. They came over and played. I think they played Sound and Fury Fest.
Oh, and the one in California.
So they play with those type of bands. Like I think I don't follow them.
I'm like. I'm trying to see what like Mike's holding up. I mean, it looks like a metal record.
It is, but it's funny. Like I did dig deep a little bit on this on purpose to check like what kind of bands they played with, and they do play with like death metal bands, and they sometimes jump on a show that's all like beatdown bands. They play with hardcore bands in Japan. Like they're all over the place. But I don't know. I've been having such a fun time with this record. It's great.
It seems like the younger scene or scenes in Tokyo are way more interested in music like that these days than anything like on more of the hardcore punk spectrum, or the what you'd think of as being hardcore or crust or death metal or whatever, which is cool. It's like
definitely the hardcore that they mention in that is not the hardcore that we probably listen to. It's a different kind of hardcore.
Yeah, it's like
which isn't my thing either, but I love this record.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Check it out, everybody! Check it out. It came up a couple of weeks ago in like conversation. So I was, man, I got to check out this band. And
this is already making me think of the next time if you'll have me ever back on the show, Mike. I'm already thinking about maybe I'll bust out some of my favorites of the, as Pat would say, pro hardcore. Actually,
be an interesting move. Yeah,
I know.
Let's all pick a pro corner release.
Like I said, this is definitely more Death Doom. It's like more Death Doom than Beatdown for sure.
Did you say it's 70 minutes long?
Oh no, I didn't. Did I say that? No, I didn't. I didn't say that.
I heard something about 17 minutes.
17.
It's pretty short. It's like a normal length, like 35, 40 minutes. Yeah. One of my picks of the year. It's a surprising one, I know, and I get it. But man, it's fun record. Yeah. All right, Daniel, what's your second pick?
All right. Yeah. Second one, I'm going with one of my most listened to records of this year. It's the Pepper EP on Roach Leg Records. So has anyone talked about this before?
No, the first time.
Yeah, I love this record. It's like they're from Montreal. It's sort of, it definitely has like a skinheady kind of vibe, I guess, about it a little bit. Like the singer kind of sings like this, but like the music it's super rock and roll. Like the guitar player just like rips in that like Wilco Johnson, like, you know, ripping fast rock and roll kind of way. Nice. They have great songs, like epic choruses that you sing along with, and like the songs, they don't feel like rote. They feel like they're straightforward and immediate, but not cliche. I don't know, I just, this is like a really, really excellent band. Good EP.
And they're phenomenal live too.
Yeah. I got to see them in Philly this summer. They were excellent. And then there's this whole, you know, they sort of like Cruelster, they like connect to this whole other world of bands like Baton Army and that Spleen tape on Roach Leg. That's like really, really good. I think it's some of the same people. So yeah, it seems like that's like a group of people who seem like they're very kind of inspired at the moment and putting out a lot of good music. But this is my favorite one.
Yeah, it does kick ass for sure.
Yeah. Man, I've seen people saying that we went to this show and Puffer were like the best band of the night and all this kind of thing. So I've been keen to check them out.
Yeah, I honestly, I think this came out like when I saw them, and they had done a tape that didn't like catch my ears so much. I think I'd liked it, but they were so good live. And then afterward, I listened to the EP and I was like, is their record that good? And it's like, oh, I guess it is. And yeah, I just didn't stop listening to it.
Puffer.
Yeah.
Wonder if Puffer's going to make it to Japan, like on tour or the record itself.
Oh, do Roach Leg records not make it to Japan much?
Oh, yeah, I guess Jackie and gets Roach Leg in, I guess.
I feel like they get those at Punk and Destroy.
That's it. It's more of a punk and destroy record, I think, right?
Series those.
Yeah. All right, Pat, what's your second record?
All right, so I've been going back to this one a lot lately. It's a classic record that came out. And as I understand, it was very unpopular. One of those Black Sheep records by one of your favorite bands, Mike. I think everybody loves it now.
Oh, okay. I think I know what it is.
What?
Maybe. Should I have a guess?
Yeah,
have a guess.
It's Motörhead, Another Perfect Day. Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's a great one.
I love that record. Yeah.
That's a good record.
Yeah,
it's my favorite Motörhead record. Right.
You know, Daniel, Jeff told me about how great this record was and how it's like one of the more unsung Motörhead records.
Yeah, it's so unique. It doesn't sound like anything else, really.
Isn't it the guy from the first record without Fast Eddie, but with the first record with the guy from Thin Lizzy, right?
Yeah, so they did Iron Fist, and Fast Eddie leaves the band after that. I think he even left maybe during that tour, and they hired what's his name, Brian Robinson from one of the Thin Lizzy guitar players, and I guess they needed him to finish the tour, and then following that tour, they do this record. They go into the studio like they typically do, and apparently, like if you read any like interviews or excerpts from Lemmy's book over the years, ever since, they say they have the worst time. They had the worst time in making this record. That he showed up, didn't care about fitting into Motörhead at all. And you can kind of like I think in the grand scheme of things, and you know, if you really pay attention to what Motörhead would go on to do later, I don't think it's that crazy of a departure. Like it's definitely different. But it works. Like if you compare this to the first 5 records, right? Or how many LPs? What is this, number 6?
Well, you've got like the self-titled, and then On Parole, which is technically
Shades, Iron Fist. So, like, I understand up to that point, or up to this point, this doesn't sound like Motörhead to people in 1983. The great thing about one of the great things about those first 4 or 5 LPs is that at least Overkill and On, they really just are so consistent. You know, like there are different production choices in there. There are some differences, but like for the most part, they just had really good, clear recordings, and it was the same band, just kind of doing their thing, really getting in their groove. And then Fast Eddie leaves, and it's like, what do you do? And I guess Filthy was a big Thin Lizzy fan, and really just impressed by Brian Robertson. And I guess he was just pushing Lemmy, like, we gotta get this guy, And I don't know. I'm not a big Thin Lizzy guy. I don't know if he was out of that band at that time and available, or if he left Thin Lizzy to join Motörhead. I don't really know, but I guess from what we do know, or what's documented in interviews and in books and stuff, he just goes into the studio and doesn't really care about being, or they claim that he didn't really care about being in Motörhead. He just wanted to make Motörhead his, you know, he wanted to bring his style to the band, which honestly, the thing that I think about, one of the like what ifs I think about when I think about Motörhead sometimes is, what if that relationship wasn't such a bad, just a bad relationship, working relationship. Because I guess it went south almost immediately. I don't think he was in the band.
Is that the only record he was on?
He was only on this record, and I think they fired him. But it's just like, I like Orgasmatron. I think that's a great record. It's different. I don't like it as much as this. There's some weird production choices on there where it sounds kind of digital. But I think sometimes, like, what if they all got along and they kept making records?
Making records, right?
I like, you know, it is what it is, and you have what you have. But honestly, if they instead of him, you know, they make one record like this with Brian and move on and basically try to have to reinvent themselves or find themselves again for Orgasmatron. I wonder, like, what if they did 5 albums like this going forward?
I should get into it.
You know, some of my favorite Motörhead songs are on this.
Shine,
yeah. Like, I mean, even One Track Mind, that's like maybe the heaviest Motörhead song. That's the heaviest. I think that's the heaviest, or one of the heaviest mid tempo Motörhead songs.
It's
all the time. Another Perfect Day, Marching Off to War, I Got Mine, Back to the Funny Farm. Even like his lyrics at this time were even just.
Did you even say "Dancing on Your Grave" yet? I mean, that's like the single off that one.
Yeah. Dancing, like every song, almost every song on this. I don't think there's a single bad song.
No. I mean, if you were to ask me now, like what's your favorite Motörhead song? I might say "Dancing on Your Grave." I fucking love that song.
Yeah, the guitar playing in that song is so not Motörhead. It's really like delicate and melodic.
Yeah.
But then, I mean,
it works. It just,
you know,
I get like Fast Eddie, he's gone, and there's nobody else quite like him. I mean, he's like a blues rock player. I mean, there's other blues rock players out there, but you know, if we're gonna lose Fast Eddie, like I would take this all day, like for going forward, rather than what we got.
Yeah,
and I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a hater, but rock and roll, you know, Orgasmatron has its problems. I think there's good songs in there. Rock and roll, it has some good songs, but it feels a little tired. Like Eddie's losing it. Or sorry, Phil's losing it.
Yes.
I don't know.
He doesn't have the shuffles anymore.
Losing, because did you hear about? You would read about. I think Lemmy would do interviews around the time when he came back, right, for 1916, and he would say, "Oh, he didn't last. He wasn't good anymore, or whatever," and then he left the band again, or something like that. But just what he's playing on this, like, it's almost like he's just playing. Brian Robertson's just playing all over Motörhead. Like, he's playing these open chords, these like melodic open chords, and I don't know if it's a chorus pedal or I assume it's some type of chorus just on the guitar. It just sounds completely different, and it didn't sound anything like that again after this. But what an album! Sometimes I'm with you, Mike, where like I feel like it's heresy to most people to say this is your favorite, and I won't say this is my favorite or this is the best Motörhead album because I still like I don't know. This isn't. I don't think I can say this is better than Ace of Spades, but it's definitely up there. And I go to this one more now than those other ones. Maybe it's just I've over listened to them or I've heard them a million. I've heard this a million times at this point. But there's something about these songs that's just more, in a lot of ways, almost seems more dynamic even than some of the early stuff. Maybe some people don't like that. It's a little bit too. What were you saying, Daniel? Like, it doesn't really sound like Motörhead. Some of the guitar playing, it's kind of soft.
Yeah, but it just works so well. It's
I wish they had somebody else like him in the band rather than getting Phil Campbell. I'm not a
huge.
I don't want to get into it. I mean, but like, yeah,
let's save that for after the show. All right, I bought the deluxe. That's how much I like it. There you go.
Yeah, check that out. I was interested in. I didn't buy it. I don't think any of that stuff would be coming out if Lemmy was still alive.
No, I don't think so either.
Not to the extent that they're like. I think those are cool. Like they're doing similar stuff with Black Sabbath's catalog, like releasing a mega deluxe vinyl version of every album. And sometimes it's kind of cool because like I would love to hear any outtakes or stuff. But I feel like with Motörhead, with those box sets, the special editions from the last few years, you don't really get any outtakes or unreleased songs. There's none of that's really there, but you do get some live sets. And there's not a lot of live material from this era, at least that I've seen, or I haven't heard many recordings. So it's kind of cool. I think there's some live tracks on there, right?
There's a double live album, completely unreleased. Yeah. Sound quality's iffy, but you get the books. Amazing. They always have these huge books in there with tons of stuff.
But I'm sure. I think I checked out like a single or something online. I haven't picked up the record, but I guess he Brian Robertson like refused to, or I guess sort of refused, maybe you could say, to play older songs on this tour.
That's not true because there's a whole bunch of old songs on that recording. So I think that's a bit of a urban myth. But yeah. All right, classic band, classic record. Yeah, one of the best. All right, Eric, what's your second pick?
All right, we're going down the train again of me just picking shit that I think kicks fucking ass, and I bet a lot of other people don't. I think Daniel's going to be with me because he too was a Bad Religion apologist.
Oh, there you go.
This is a Bad Religion Against the Grain. I believe. Sorry, it's got the cellophane on it. I believe this is an original or close to it 1990, still with the shrink on it. Cool. But I think even Daniel at the time, when we were still doing like staff picks or blogs on the website, I wrote about this record. I think it's my favorite Bad Religion album. What's up?
Odd choice.
I think it's the best.
What's yours, Daniel?
So Jeff, I heard. What's up?
Oh, I was going to answer that question in a very long-winded way. So.
Oh, okay. I can do it in one word, but.
Well, I mean, how could hell be any worse?
Oh, okay.
Really. But like, I have a whole complicated relationship with Bad Religion.
Right.
But I think even Against the Grain, it's an odd record. Even sort of, if you view that as their peak era, I feel like that's the one they took the most chances on, until maybe like Recipe for Hate.
I mean, which was only 2 records later, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Jeff, I guess I don't know if he got this term from Connor Donegan or not, but he called Suffer, No Control, and Against the Grain the big 3. And then like those were like mainstream success albums, I guess, after How Could Help Be Any Worse or whatever. But this one, I don't know if it just has like a lot of my favorite songs on it. I think Greg Graffin sings with like way more like conviction. I don't know. He's like there's Jeff. Fuck
it's
yeah.
It's the holy trifecta. It's the correct term.
I don't know. I think this album has like a little bit more like passion and emotion than a lot of the other ones I listen to. It's also kind of dark. All the songs are a little like, I don't know. It's kind of got like a spooky vibe to it.
Yeah, it really does.
The last record with the guy, I forget his last name, Jeff, if you know, he'll tell us. But the guy Pete, the last record with
Pete Feinstone.
Yes, and then the next one was Generator, and that's when Bobby came in the picture.
Generator, I like Generator too, though. I think
I like Generator.
That's the last really good one for me. But you know,
I like the first couple.
You're missing out on so much good stuff, man. I think everybody needs to grow up and accept Bad Religion has so many great albums. Everybody wants to just lump it into the 80s.
To me, I think after Brett like rejoins the band, Bad Religion just gives up. I think they're just like, fuck it, we're just gonna like write the same song over and over again. Put out
was pretty good. That's the first one back with Brett, but I would agree after that for the most part.
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I listen to Bad Religion now, like I have a lot of like nostalgic attachment to it because they were my favorite band, I would say, from like age 16 to like 21 or something. And when I listen to it, I think, what a fucking asshole I must have been. That like this was the music that I like, that said like, this is me. You know, it's so pretentious. Like it's unbelievable.
I had that same thought like a year or two ago where like I was listening to so much Bad Religion at the time and I was like, Greg Graffin, will you just shut the fuck up? I don't know. You're such a fucking dickhead. But then I was listening to this in preparation earlier. Wait, which track is it? It's the second track. Oh yeah, the third track, Get Off. And I was like, that one's kind of like a crazy, weird. I don't know, not a very intellectual song at all, I don't think.
That's true. Yeah.
But I was like, you know, there's moments of dynamics aside from him just being like a fucking professor. But we're just cool and we're all down
like
on that.
How every song sounds the same, and yet every song has like something unique about it and totally memorable. Almost, it's quite a feat.
Well, I mean, that's what makes a great band.
Yeah. Anesthesia, yes, that's the hit.
Anesthesia is a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many good ones. Entropy.
Entropy. That's good.
Also, this is the first rendition of 21st Century Digital Boy, which is like one of their biggest songs that they redid later on Stranger Than Fiction for their first major label.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm rolling with the things I know I can talk about tonight.
I feel like Jeff and I have had like drives back from Richmond where we talk about Bad Religion for like 3 hours and get into the real nitty gritty. But I don't think Mike's audience wants to hear that.
Well, it's funny. Like 3 episodes back, Dennis Newcomer. I think he showed that exact same record. In fact.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah, and I like it. It's good to see, you know, these like. It's good. It's funny because it's good to see these kind of people that I know, like not being afraid, like to show like an obvious classic record like that. And that. Yeah.
I only have honesty in who I am. That's all I have.
I like Rachel's comment. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry. Of course you can.
Yeah, Jeff was just telling me the other day that there's some like Bad Religion thing on YouTube where they do at least one song from Into the Unknown, like a couple years ago.
Wow.
Wait, was that the pandemic thing? They did this pandemic series, and they did the decades. I've actually not seen it, but at the time you could pay for it, and like they would do like this live show where it's like an hour and a half. They do like the 80s, and they just play like almost the entire catalog of their favorite songs. And then the 90s, and then the 2000s and the 2010s.
Yeah. Jeff was saying that was like surprisingly good.
I heard that it plays a lot of like deep cuts, especially like in the 90s one. I want to watch that.
I have a question. There's a Bad Religion record that I used to really like. It's like, I think it's an EP, and it's got like that song Frogger on it.
Yeah, Back to the Known.
Back to the Known. All right.
That's one of my favorite Bad Religion records.
That's a good one, right? Turn over a new leaf. What is that on there? Something like that.
Yeah, I really like that song.
That's great. It's a great song. I haven't listened to that in years, man. Years and years.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a very interesting era for the band because it's kind of like right in the middle of like How Could Hell Be Any Worse and
right.
Suffer.
Yes.
It sounds like it because they're like starting to get more melodic, but still a little gritty.
That New Leaf song is amazing. It just popped into my head, the chorus, like right now, even though I haven't listened to it for like 20, 30 years.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. My next choice is actually even better now that Daniel's with us. You'll see why in a second. So everyone loves this compilation, right? We all love it. So
hell yeah.
Modern day classic. But I got to confess, there was one band on this record that I didn't like that much or wasn't super into. Before, that was the obvious answer. That's like, no, before I got this, I wasn't super into this band. But this record kind of made me like them, and I went out and bought the new LP because of this compilation. And
Rat
it wasn't.
Cage?
Yeah. And people said, "What? You didn't like Rat Cage?" And I didn't like dislike them. I just wasn't like super into them. But so I went out and I don't think this has been shown yet. I haven't even checked myself if it's been shown yet. I don't think so. But it's the new Rat Cage.
Oh, I love that record.
It's so good, and I feel like
record. That's the one. That's the band. At least from what I've seen, because they had a different lineup years ago. They toured the U.S. and different guys and stuff. That is Rat Cage to me. They don't really sound like that first record anymore. I don't mean that in a like that record's good in its own way, but it's almost just like straightforward Swedish, like hardcore, king punk, whatever. But this is what they sound. It's like it's British sounding. It's like the Swedish hardcore sound, like uncurbed and stuff, but as well as like that British influence comes through as well.
I was like, just it like knocked me off my chair, like how good it is. It's yeah.
People aren't talking about this record.
We are now. Let's talk about it more. Let's talk about it more than we talked about Barrel.
I heard so much about the first record LP, and then when this thing came out, and I remember when I first heard it, I was just like, oh, like for me at least, I prefer this. I think it's great. All the songs kind of stand out, but I haven't heard that much talk about it. I'm surprised.
No, I don't know why. I mean, for me, like I said, I didn't dislike them, but I wasn't like super excited about them. And then I liked the songs on the compilation. I was like, you know what? I want to check out the new record, and I did. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I did, because it's like, wow, Jesus, man! It's like what an I don't want to say improvement because it makes the other stuff sound bad, but it's like they really nailed it on this record. Much like Deletar did on their new record, they kind of really stepped things up 10 notches, on the new record.
Yeah. I really like their split with Nervous SS too. Like,
I love that one.
That one was kind of almost lean into they do like a UK subs cover on it, and like they just really lean into that like anthemic edge to their sound, and like that's what I think they really excel at. They could just like write a like fist pumping chorus.
Yes. I do get a little bit of that, like, I don't know, abrasive wheels, like kind of like power and catchiness in there as well on this.
For sure.
Turned up a bit though.
We played at them earlier this year.
Oh yeah.
In their town in Sheffield, and I hadn't seen them prior to then, and they blew all of us away. They just destroyed the whole place. They're like one of those bands where like you don't want them to play before you.
Yeah, they're a current band.
Played before us in Copenhagen.
Yeah, like they did something. I think they had just come back from an Australian tour in May or April, and I think they did this on some of the shows in Australia. But like at the end of their set, they did an encore, and I know that sounds cheesy, like doing an encore, but like people demanded that they come back, and I don't think they really planned on doing this, but they just got back from Australia, and they did a medley of all like British like hardcore like hits. Like they did it. I can't remember what song, but they did like GBH. Like they played in like all these songs into each other, and they were the same. They were like the same
key.
What do you call it? Like not the key, but like the same like tempo or whatever. They kind of just like transitioned into the songs. They did the GBH song I think they played 4 Minute Warning, and I can't remember what else it was cool though, but amazing band.
It does have that, I've said already, but it does have that UK and the production as well. It's like you can like it's very powerful production that doesn't like sacrifice any of the rawness or the power of the record.
I heard a review of that on a podcast, and they were really critical of the production, in particular the drum sound.
Really?
And I was just like, really? I think it sounds.
What did they say about it?
They said the drums didn't sound good, that they sounded like muffled. Yeah,
I didn't get that from my. But everyone hears things differently. That's fine. But I thought, this sounds great to me. I'm not an expert, but I don't know.
No, that's
great record.
I will say, like coming in, is it the second song where it's like a spoken word intro?
Yes, there is that.
I respect that.
Yeah, I think they had done that once before, didn't they?
Oh, really?
It's like
it's like these like little touches that bands put in that like, oh yeah, that was great. Like really kind of elevated the song or whatever. Yeah, and there's some like samples in here too, right?
Yeah.
So it's all La Vida es un mus, knocked out of the park again.
You could buy the Sorry State exclusive orange vinyl pressing from us.
There you go. Everybody get on that right away.
No, I mean, I like the record so much. Like,
you're right. I feel like people haven't really been talking about this record maybe as much as they should. It's great. Savage Visions, Rat Cage. Check it out. There you go.
Cool.
Daniel, what's your next pick? Third pick. Third record of the day.
All right. I'm going to take a left turn. I got a Richmond band. So maybe, I don't know if Eric or Patrick have any connection to this. This is a band that like really got under my skin in the past few months or so. Honor Roll from Richmond. So this is their last album, Rictus. Honor Roll started as a really straightforward hardcore band, like No Way put out their first demo tape on vinyl. And then they just sort of, I don't know if they evolved so much as changed all at once. And I think they ended up being super influential on like the math rock thing that emerged, like especially.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that at all. I don't think so.
I really think
you say that's not interesting.
So they have their first album is called The Pretty Song, and that one doesn't get me as much. There's a 7-inch in there actually on No Core called Judgment Day that I think is really, really good. And then I think this is really good. And then their other records just sort of like are lacking. And everybody says that they were one of the best live bands ever. They were like a little bit before my time. I think they played their last show like just as I was older shows. Sorry.
I've heard that from some of the older people around where they're like,
no,
I wasn't really into hardcore, but Honor Roll, they were the most amazing band.
Yeah, and people always say that their live thing didn't really get captured on record, but I love this. It's just like it's really rhythmically interesting, and it's just sort of it sounds like hardcore in that it's like constantly coming at you. It's exciting all the time, and the lyrics I just like love the lyrics. They're super poetic, a bit like maybe Marquis Smith in some places, sort of enigmatic. The music is too. It's just it's a band I've like have really, really gotten into over the past few years.
Man, that's a band. It's been on my list of bands to go back and listen to in my advanced years as a more mature.
I would not have liked them when I was younger.
I didn't. That's the thing. I remember getting some songs on like a mixtape or something mixed in with other kind of hardcore. Like it's like, oh, I don't like this at all back then. But I'm sure now I would hear it much differently. I'm sure.
I mean, even like I've tried kind of listening to some of like Penn Rollins' like later bands after Honor Roll, and it almost gets like a bit too like mathy and strange. But yeah, I don't know. It clicked with me.
That's definitely a forgotten Richmond band. I mean, nerds know who they are, but you don't ever hear anybody really bring up Honor Roll. Like, for the most part.
Well, it seems like they sort of bridged eras in a way. Like I know, like, they always said they played Raleigh so much that they were basically like a Raleigh band, but it seems like the people who were kind of getting into hardcore as it was waning kind of in the mid 80s, like that was a really important band to them. So maybe, yeah, people who kind of just missed like the peak of hardcore.
Yeah, I don't know how much they really played or if they toured much. Like I'm not an expert or by any means or anything, but like
I mean, I think they got out there for sure, because I know they were a huge influence on like Drive Like Jehu, like from California, you know. And then I think even like Slint and things like that. I think, you know, obviously like not from Richmond, but Honor Roll made a big impression on them.
That's a great pick.
Yeah. Conversation starter too.
Yeah, it's like it's like it's one of those bands that I need to go back and check out. And really,
it's funny. I was talking about Bad Religion being pretentious, but Honor Roll is probably like pretty pretentious. I am who I am.
All right, beautiful. All right, Pat, what's your third pick?
All right. So I don't really know what to say about this one. It's just a very, very classic Peel session. The ENT Peel session on Vinyl Japan.
Yes, that's the original.
It's weird because there's like 3 different versions of this.
It's confusing, right?
It's really confusing, and the track listing is different on at least this version versus the other two. I don't have the other two. I don't have the what is it? Is it Strange Fruit?
I feel like that one is like the definitive one. Doesn't it have like all 3 Peel
sessions? It has all 3. The weird thing that's always annoyed me with this one has the best artwork, of course.
Yes.
The other ones look like they could be any of the, well, at least the one I'm thinking of, the Strange Fruit one.
That just has the generic like Strange Fruit. Yeah.
One of the other ones has some punk looking artwork, but I mean this one looks the best. Yeah. I would say I don't have the other 2, but I'd be surprised if the other 2 sounded better than this. This one just sounds really good on vinyl. I mean, most of these for whatever reason, these Vinyl Japan releases, they sound really good. I have a bunch of records on the label, but it's weird because it starts the first 3 songs are from the 3rd Peel session from 1990. You know, like they did 3 different Peel sessions with him, which I'm curious about. I'm sure this information's out there somewhere, but how did they get to do so many?
Well, John Peel was a huge fan. He lived in the same area as Dean and ENT, and like Dean used to go to his house and stuff. And I went to a ENT show back then, and like John Peel came to the show, so they were pretty close. You know, they lived in the same part of England, and John Peel was like a huge fan of Extreme Noise Terror. So
yeah, it's just so cool to like. Everyone knows about John Peel and his support of underground music, and especially like how he supported bands like this, which is really cool. But like, you know, the fact that he I invited them back 2 more times, you know, like he did 3 different. He let them record 3 different times, and they all sound like you can hear the improvement as they got better. I like all of them.
One of the sessions has Mad Mickey Harris, right, from Napalm Death on it. So all the songs are like twice. Yes, so all the songs are like twice as fast as they should be. And I remember like Dean saying like, "Oh man, he just won't slow down. It's like way too fast." But now, of course, they've reissued the original, another version of the Holocaust in Your Head with Mick Harris drumming on it.
Yeah.
Now?
Yes.
Is it the 3rd or 4th version of that record?
Yeah, yes, it's like the 3rd or 4th different version. They shelved the recording.
It's so ugly. So ugly looking. Like, why do they do these reissues like this?
It's
why do they make us suffer?
It's Back on Black, so you know, right? It's a Back on Black thing. So,
Back on Black, like
yes. Let's not spend too much airtime discussing Back on Black. But yeah, like I showed that ENT the Holocaust with like Mickey Harris, the Mickey Harris version. I mean, it's a great like you know, thing to have, but yeah, he played those songs like way too fast. You know.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why they like mixed up the sessions on here.
That's a bit annoying. Yeah.
Like I don't like. I'm glad they're all on here, but it's like you have 3 songs from the 1990 recording, right? And then for 4 songs, and then the next song on the A side goes all the way back to the first recording,
right? And
then it switches back. It switches back on the B side back to the 1990 recording, and it's like, why couldn't she just put them all together in chronological, like in session order, even like reverse session order, like 1990, 1980, 87? Why are you mixing up the songs?
Especially as they went to all that trouble. They've got the BBC logo. It's official. They must have paid a lot of money in like licensing fees. They've got the best artwork. It's the best sounding.
How cool is this? Like, I know BBC, right. Like there's been other punk related bands, like even recently, like that BBC, I guess, does their music show thing with, and it's attached to BBC, but it's like extreme noise terror like, on like,
BBC
logo. Yeah. That would be like I don't know. That would be like Morbid Angel on PBS. Like, to me, that would have never happened.
It's the whole phenomenon of Peel sessions is just amazing to me. That like so many bands, like not just ENT, but like real underground punk bands, got to go in and record in these like state of the art studios, and so many bands, it's their best recordings.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the other thing I forgot to say. I like all the ENT. Well, maybe not all of them, but I like most of their records. And at various times, I'm like, this is the best record. That's the best record. I think this is their best recording easily. Like you just said, Daniel, for a lot of the bands.
I remember hearing them like as they went out, like in real time on my like little radio, and just being like, oh my god, Jesus Christ! And it sounded amazing on your little radio, you know, back then. Like this, you know, it's so good, so
crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anything out there still in John Peel's estate or his collection. I know there was like a documentary, I think, on his collection or his family's, like what's left of his estate, like in his house, right? I remember seeing something years ago, but I wonder if there are any tapes.
They've had a podcast where they like bring music people into the house and they get to rummage through the collection and talk about records that are meaningful.
Shane Embury did one.
Oh, I did not hear that one.
Yes, it's on YouTube. You can see him doing it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is Slade, and like, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. The video of it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like there has to be. I mean, maybe not for ENT, but just curious as to what other things are just maybe in those studio materials, if that stuff exists somewhere still. Like I don't. It's like one of those things where, like for like completely unrelated, but people always would talk about like 5150 Studios and like the stuff that Eddie Van Halen was sitting on. Would just like tinker with stuff and record songs and music and just never release it. Like they would just write songs, and I think they would even sometimes, you know, other bands would record there and it would get shelved and stuff. And it's like all that stuff is just sitting somewhere.
Yeah. Or even I wonder, like, it's crazy to think about, right? Crazy. Classic. There's so many classic Peel sessions. There's almost uncountable, like how many great ones are.
Yeah. I know. It's like, I don't want to say basic, but it's like, oh, okay, Motörhead, Anti-Bofors, ENT. But it's like I'm not one of those people I'm not going to show you a bunch of obscure records that you can't find.
You're basically what I have in store.
You've never heard of.
Everyone has their own way of interpreting this very simple question.
Yeah.
Which makes it so interesting. It's cool.
This is what I'm listening to.
There you go.
I listen to the classics.
There you go. All right. Everyone wondering, Eric is not being rude. His monitor is situated like to the left.
Oh, no, sorry.
He does care about us. He does love us.
No, the monitor is here. I want to see everyone, but the camera is here. So I'll try to at least look at y'all when I'm speaking.
Yes. All right, Eric, what's your third pick today? What's your third pick?
All right, so I have a little stack here, and all right, I think this is what I want to talk about. So most of my other picks are older records. And like I said, I kind of picked on the fly, and I just want to pick things that I really love and that I really wanted to actually talk about, or that I could speak to, or something like that. And the truth is this record came out in 2018, 2019, 2017. First Rata Negra. I still jam it like all the time. I think every song, it's like a Green Day Dookie or like a Rancid and Out Come the Wolves. Every song is just like, fuck yes. Every single.
No skips.
First line, you know. But yes, I think what year was this, Daniel?
It's
I'm
sorry. It's like 20. It's the newest album, right? That's the newest.
No, this is the first one.
Sorry. Yes, the new one has like the faces in the sunflowers, right?
Yes.
And I'm obviously not going to talk negatively about it, but I think this is their peak. I mean, this is the other ones don't nearly do this one. This is what melody is made of. This is perfect.
Did you ever listen to that Juanita Elos Feos?
Feos? Yeah, that was a great band too.
It's great,
man.
But obviously, Daniel, did you book the Rata Negra show in Raleigh?
Daniel's freezing up a little bit.
Yeah,
no.
I'm back.
He'll probably be back. There you go.
Well, I'm also going to comment on what I guess Rachel in the comments was saying is I want to talk about them being a live band. Daniel, did you book that show in Raleigh?
Maybe. Definitely No Love played it.
Yes.
Yeah. I just remember they the singer bought a No Love record, and I took it as a very big compliment. I was just like,
oh, they were remarkable, and they're so anthemic. I really wish I spoke better Spanish because I try. I'm in my that was
it was Jeff thing.
That was a very special time seeing them too. They were so remarkable, I thought. And it holds up. It's not dated. It will live on in my collection and in my heart until I die.
I wonder if they're still active because there's this Miss España record, and
that's
it seems like the singer is in a
she's doing a new project, right?
Yeah, and that record's cool, but I wonder if that means that there is no Rata Negra or if it's just another thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a side project or Yeah,
definitely in a similar vein.
What a great band! Just
do you agree, Mike? I mean, they're phenomenal.
I like all their records. I play the new one the most. I don't really know why. It's just I just do. But I like all their records. Yeah.
There was this one song on the second record that I forget. I mean, I could go grab the record. I forget what the name of the song was, but someone described it to me as it was it should be on like a Disney movie about some really uplifting message or something. And I was like, yes, this it's so uplifting. This melody and groove.
I get every now and again you'll be like, well, you like Accidente and Rata Negra. Why do you like those bands? But you don't like major label pop punk? And there are some similarities. I do.
It's different. Rata Negra is still a punk band.
Yeah,
to me, in production and style and artwork, it's still a punk band.
Yeah, there's definitely some similarities, but just it's different, right? It's but they have so many hits though. Every album is it's a hit after hit, right?
A hit after hit, yeah.
Accidente too. I love that band. Accidente.
Yeah, I need to revisit them. It's been a very long time. I don't think I can speak to that as much.
Yeah. Like you said, it'll be nice to see a new album from Rata Negra at some point, or a new single. But yeah, they did put out that 7-inch, right? That was last year, maybe the newest.
Didn't they just put out a new album last year?
The new one is either from last year or the year before. It's newish.
Their third LP.
Yeah, third LP. Yeah.
All right, Mike. Before you get started, I hate to do this. I need a new beer and I need to piss so bad. So I'll be as fast as I can.
Thanks for being so candid. We'll wait for him to get back. Anyone else want to? Let's not all go at once. That's not a good look. So,
Yeah.
Or disappear off camera at the same time. It's probably been done at least once.
I'll go off camera and just never come back.
Yeah, right. That's going to happen for Sunday. So at some point, right? It's like, I just can't stand this anymore. Cheers. Was it 2 more rounds to go? It's going to be a 2-hour show, so book an extra 40 minutes in your schedule.
Is there a length that it's supposed to be?
No.
Okay.
No. It can be 5 hours if we want it to be. Or not. I think the longest one is like 2 hours and a half, 2.5.
Who is that with?
I don't remember. There's a few that are about that length. There's a few.
So it's what? It's like noon. I heard the garbage truck.
You did right. Nice ears. It's 1:30, 1:20. Cheers. Welcome back. Welcome home.
Thanks, everyone, for your patience. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Nice little tinkling sound we heard in the background. Yeah. All right. Okay. My next record is another Japanese band. It's a Japanese hardcore band, but they kind of play a style of Japanese hardcore that is like maybe not as loved, like in the sense that it's not your traditional kind of Burning Spirits hardcore. It's not crusty hardcore. They're kind of out on their own. Actually, there's a few bands doing this style recently, but I kind of like them all. They call this band Showa era hardcore, which is funny because the Showa era in Japan runs from like 1926 to 1990, so it kind of covers a lot. 89 actually, it covers a lot of bases, but I guess they mean 80s, right? That's what they mean. Or it has like an old feel to it, like an old timey that kind of takes you back to like a different time. I love this band.
Is it influenced by Japanese music from like that era?
Maybe let's have a look. Maybe let's see if anyone knows the record I'm talking about, and hopefully at least someone does. Here we go. This is what we're talking about. No, we're talking about Keiketsu. Keiketsu is the name of the band. It's their second LP called Kankai. I mean, it's on Break the Records. It's on Break the Records. Has done all the other stuff that people.
So it's sold out.
Probably. Actually, you know what? I mean, the vinyl was. I think there's like 500, 300 maybe. I don't know. But I got to say, good and bad things about Break the Records. We'll get to that in a second. But this band, I didn't like their first LP too much. It's okay. It's another Rat Cage situation. So I kind of thought that old stuff was okay. But this is like a huge leap for this band. They are really mining like old school Japanese hardcore, like the first wave of Japanese hardcore. Like the Comes and Keiketsu and a bit of the styling in there. Female vocalist, female drummer too. I couldn't really find anything about this band, but I did find out that the drummer used to be in that band, Hime. Do you remember Hime? Do you remember Hime? do you remember Putrid Fever? No, Hime had a single on HG Fact.
That sounds right.
So, yeah, they had a single on HG Fact, and they were also, the description of them that I found is like exactly the same as how you would describe this band. It's funny. So, they're doing that old school, like Japanese hardcore, like before that second wave came in. So it's a little trebly, it's a little like arty, it's more punky, like in a kind of art school kind of way.
Probably a little weird.
A little.
Probably,
but not too much. It's very strict. Okay, so there's a thing about this record. It was recorded like during the pandemic. It's kind of angrier sounding than their first record. It's great. If anyone was like not too on board with their other records, I would definitely recommend trying to check this out if you can find it. That's the thing, right? But
Mike, is it like would it fit more in line with that scene, that current scene in Japan that's separate from everything you mentioned, kind of like what you were saying? I forget what the label's called. It's
Killavilla.
It's the one that their logo is like a ripoff of like 80K.
So
punk label, like
it's not. It's not Hikan. Hikan the drummer of this band also did that label. He can. Who put
see
out that band? No, no, no.
Yeah,
No, no.
yeah. They're one of the bands. They like
Yes.
released those 7 inches
Yeah.
that are always
This is what. Yeah, you're right. This is what we're talking about.
like that
No,
scene.
no,
I don't know
no.
what you call that scene, but it's definitely
Me
more
neither.
like UK comes type of, old hardcore, not like you said,
Yes.
not Tokyo Burning Spirits.
And not macho. It's like more arty, more like
weird.
I'm into it. I like it. There's that band Ice Cream. No, no, no. And then this band.
Yeah.
Keiketsu.
Are those bands popular there? Like, are they? Is that a?
I don't know. I feel like it's like I don't know, Pat. That's a good question. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like I don't know. It's my answer to that. I don't know. Yeah.
I remember when I just kind of stumbled upon some of that stuff a few years ago. Just like, oh, there's this other, like, it's one of those other scenes that's not really linked to
Right.
like a crust scene or the traditional like the 90s more like aggressive macho scene. It's
That's
like
right. Yeah.
they're a lot more different. It seems like there's more different types of people.
It's like slightly younger people, which is good. Good, it's good to see that they're doing their own thing. I think it's great. I support this all the way. So yeah, the band's called Keiketsu. The record's called Kankai. It's on Break the Records. It has a CD version as well. If you like CDs, it's out there with different artwork. Good band, good stuff. Especially this record.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm very, very curious about that. I love that.
Yeah, check it out. I'll try and find a link that I can send to people to check it out. But FOAD did that compilation, the 3-band thing. That has this band on it with No, 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 Ice Cream, and Keiketsu. I think this band's like best material on this record. There you go. Check it out. Japanese hardcore is not dead. There's still stuff going on, All right. Daniel, what's your 4th pick?
Yeah, so I'm sort of like Eric. I chose one that was kind of more like just a classic, but kind of a show and tell copy. This is the Bad Brains Rock for Light, but it's test pressing of it that I got like when I still lived in Richmond in like the 90s or something. Like I actually bought this from England. I bought it from John Esplin of Overground Records.
Oh,
he
wow.
used to send out these like giant email lists. This like maybe eBay was the thing by then, but it was like I don't know. It was he's probably one of the first like international like used record dealers I ever ordered from, and he'd just get the craziest stuff would pop up on his list. And I remember that I bought this for £5. I don't know if I got a discount because it didn't come with a cover or what. It comes with like the radio cue sheet. But yeah, it's just, and I've never gotten rid of it because, well, like, why would I? And it's the original mix, which is like very important because you don't want a bad copy of Rock for Light because that sped up version is like whack. You don't want any part of that.
Is that your favorite Bad Brains record?
No, definitely not. It'd probably be 3rd or 4th. You know what Bad Brains I love is that Omega Sessions 10-inch that Victory put out.
That's a good one.
Man. To me, that's like it captures them with like a really great recording, like right at the peak. It's like I think Eye Against Eye is on there, and it's like a really and the version on that just like blows away. Version.
It's 10-inch on the Victory Records, no less.
Yeah. All labels.
I was listening to Eye Against Eye the other day. That's so good.
Yeah, the version of Eye Against Eye on that is
it's a
I don't think I've actually heard that, so I think I need to explore that.
You absolutely need to explore that. It's like it is a scorching record. But I mean, I would say Rock for Light to me, I really love the song Coptic Times, the first song on that record, and it.
He loves Coptic Times, and then
you cut out.
Am I?
You're back.
You just said You love Coptic Times, and then you throw some.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. And that song's only on here. That's one of my favorite Bad Brain songs. But I think like the production on this album is like not particularly good. It's
so disappointing compared to the previous record. You know,
so trebly, like the drum sound. It's like so tinny and trebly.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard for me to really get into just because of the production. It just like didn't do it for me. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
But to me, like the era of the Bad Brains, it's like songs like Eye Against Eye and Coptic Times, where they really like ramp up kind of the density of the songs, and there's like a lot of changes and like really kind of nimble rhythmic shifts and stuff. Like it's just as like fast and precise as their earlier stuff, but like really, really complex. But before, you know, they sort of go off the edge with kind of metal and funk metal and stuff.
Right.
And that's just like the like great era of Bad Brains. And I wish that this album had like a great recording. But yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, what a classic. I can go up to I like Quickness quite a bit too. I don't know if that's a weird opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I like those records just fine. You know what's funny? We were on tour and we were in DC at some bar like after the show, and there was a DJ, and I think the DJ recognized that there were loads of punks, and they were playing punk songs, and then the DJ played Sacred Love, and I was there with like 10 people, and no one knew who it was.
Wow.
In DC.
Yeah. No one knew it was Bad Brains.
I feel like people don't listen to Bad Brains anymore. Like I don't hear younger people ever. I don't see younger people.
We're talking about like everybody's fucking up. Everybody should listen to Minor Threat and Bad Brains and Adolescence every day.
They're worse than
but don't forget about the rat cages and the
plenty time for that too.
Yes, there's
main course
24 hours in the day. Time management, people. Time management.
Yeah. Has anyone got that? I know Sorry State has it, but I'd be curious to see if you've heard it yet. That Minor Threat 7-inch. Have you listened to it yet, Daniel?
Yes, it came today, and we just got them at the store and we listened to it today. I was pleasantly surprised, I got to say.
When I read the description, I got excited. Just the idea of hearing those songs recorded in that session. Never. I mean, yeah, they're not on the record, but I'm excited to get it.
Yeah, it's cool. The performances are like really quite different than the other versions. Like there are lyrics. I was talking about it earlier. I've been listening to Minor Threat for like 30 years now, and there are lyrics that I heard this afternoon that I've never heard in my life. And I was like, holy shit, that's what he's saying. A shepherd or sheep looking for a shepherd. Like, you don't say. Yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it.
I wish there was more. It's what, those two songs, and then is it instrumental, that last song?
Yeah, it's like the end of Cashing In, where it's like the whole like there's no place like home. It's basically just that, more or less.
I've heard this. There's a hidden track right on the piece.
Yeah, there is.
There you go. Well, you know where to get your copies.
There's been a lot of I feel like maybe you wouldn't call that a reissue per se, since it's more of an archival thing, but there's been like some pretty important reissue archival releases lately. Ones that you would have thought would have come like years ago. Like I would have thought that like after doing that Minor Threat demo 7-inch thing that they did, was that 20 years ago when they did that? Like 15, 20 years ago. I would have thought that maybe if there was unreleased music or extra music like that, they would have done that Out of Step 7-inch, like closer to that, or like, what is it, like 40 years later, finally, after people probably begging Al to do the SSD reissue, it's like they finally do it, and they're all ancient, like.
Yeah,
I'm sure they had offers like 15, 20 years ago, many offers, and they just didn't care or didn't want to do it at the time.
Yeah.
Whose turn is it? It's Patrick's friend. Yeah, fourth pick. What's your fourth row?
Fourth pick. I'm gonna return to a band that I already was talking about earlier. I've been listening to a lot of Motörhead lately. Again, I guess some people like. I feel like you probably listen to a lot of Motörhead all the time. You never really stop, Mike. But I think I took like a couple years off where I didn't really listen to much Motörhead for a while, and then I just kind of been going back and revisiting a lot of the records again, because for a while, like probably like a 5-year period, I would just listen to a lot of like Motörhead all the time, like all of it, or at least everything from like 70s, 80s, and some of the 90s stuff. But I've been going back, and one of the records that some people like to talk about, or they say is like, oh, this is like one of their best records, or one of their best later records. Inferno.
It is.
It's really solid. That one just gets my fucking blood pressure rising, man. Oh,
yeah.
So I got this a couple years ago on vinyl. Like, it's the original pressing that came out in 2004.
Yeah, I got the same one. Yeah.
It's funny because I was looking at it earlier, and this will really date it. Like, it has these two inserts, right, with these kind of cool pictures of the band. Phil, I feel like he looks like a No Rules character, like some kid on a 90s kids t-shirt. Like, he has the worst style. But on the bottom of one of these inserts, it says, "Place the CD in your computer to learn about and sign up for Motörhead's internet service. It's the ultimate way for fans to connect with the band." Or go to their website. So I'm like, what is the Motörhead internet service? What is that? But anyway, like, this is their first record produced by Cameron Webb, right?
Yeah.
Their longtime producer that I think a lot of people praise for making the band sound good, but I don't really like how he made the band sound very much, to be honest.
But I don't think it matters too much on that, especially on that record, because to me, because the songs are so good.
You think the songs are good? You like these ones?
That's my favorite album of all that, like, last run of however many records there are. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
So that's what some people say, and I don't really hear it.
Really?
Like, really? So the last two records that they also did with Cameron Webb, Aftershock and Bad Magic. 10 years later, I think they're better records than this.
Really?
I think the songs are better. There's something about them. Daniel, what were you going to say?
Well, I'm not like an expert on later Motörhead at all, but I just remember I remember it was Christmas time, and the new issue of the Big Takeover, that magazine, had come out, and I bought it to like sit and read while I was visiting my parents for Christmas, and that was like the #1 pick of the issue. And Jack Rabbit was just like going crazy about it, and he was like, "It sounds like Machine Gun Etiquette." And I remember reading that, and it was like, the Motörhead internet service era, so like I couldn't just look it up, and I was like, I gotta get this freaking record. It sounds so good. And I got it, and I was just like, yes.
Yeah.
And I burned a hole through it. I listened to it so much.
Me too. My copy is trashed. I have to kind of get a new one. It's trashed. I played it so much.
Yeah. But then I remember Magic and Aftershock came out. I checked them both out, and I was just like, these are doing nothing for me, really. And it could be,
I like them. I mean, that Inferno was the record that made me go back and listen to the ones, because I dropped off. I'd like to stop following them at that point. And actually, it was some Japanese punk saying, "Man, Mike, have you heard like the new Motörhead?" New Motörhead? It's like, no. It's like, I was like, "Is it good?"
No. They were still amazing live. Like, I would go see them every time. Like, the live's different. These records sound. First of all, like, people always praise the album Bastards, or not. A lot of people do. People are like,
there's that's some good songs on it, but yeah,
there's some good songs. Like, I think there's some good songs on most of their records, but I don't think Mickey D is the right person for this band.
I've said that before. He doesn't have the shuffle.
Like, he has no he's a good drummer. Like technically he's a really good drummer. He's very proficient. He was in before joining, he was in a band, and then before that he was in King Diamond.
He was in
he played on.
He's in Scorpions now.
Yeah, he's in Scorpions now. Like I don't want to hear like just like rapid double kick and everything.
Agreed.
Like Motörhead's not like I know they're like you could go back and forth about like is Motörhead a metal band, but like I don't want Motörhead to sound like a thrash metal band. You know, like I don't know. People like Bastards. There's some good songs on there, but almost every song on there has like King Diamond double kick and like almost like extreme metal. Like it sounds like what's his name, Vinny from Pantera or something, where it's like he like throws all this unnecessary stuff.
They were trying to kind of like stay relevant, but they didn't need to.
Yeah, they didn't need to. Like, I mean, he was on No, he wasn't on 1916, but like I feel like 1916 was their last, like maybe I'd say classic record where it does sound modern and maybe it's a little bit too. They're on too much speed at that time where I wish they slowed down just a tiny bit, but like there's just a certain point where it's like it's 2004 and they're playing in C flat. Like they're playing two steps down, I'm pretty sure. Or I'm sorry, not C flat. I think it was D flat. But
I don't know what that means, but
it's just Phil Campbell's riffs. It's just like it sounds like Ramones Motörhead at this point.
Wait, C flat is just B, right?
What?
I said C flat is just B, right?
It's not C flat. I think it's D flat. But I think they normally were in E flat, and then they went down another step. But it was just like I feel like a lot of the in efforts to like compete or be metal or aggressive or punk or whatever, there's like ever since like Wurzel left the band, and it's just Phil. I'm assuming Phil's writing most of the guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And like going along with Lemmy, and there's just not really a lot of nuance in it. And I feel like Cameron Webb's production doesn't really help because like I understand at this time like why this is appealing or why this reignited some people's interest, but going back now, it's just kind of hard to listen to, like how he produced Lemmy's vocals too. Like it's like a lot of the vocals are layered and double tracked and stuff so that he can be a little bit more maybe melodic.
I hear. What I don't like about it is like every record from therein all kind of sounds the same.
Yeah, that's the Cameron Webb production.
Yes, yeah.
It's like you just turn it on and record, and it sounds like that. But
I've seen it sometimes. It's like they need to change producers. Like, it's the same with Iron Maiden. That guy that does Iron Maiden's been doing Iron Maiden for ages. It's like they need to get rid of him because he's fucking it up. It's like,
Book of Souls is pretty good, but like the latest one's a little bit flat sounding, kind of like some of these Motörheads. But anyway, I've been revisiting this. And I put it on earlier and I listened to it in full, and it was kind of a little bit of a slog because I mean, Motörhead's probably my favorite band. But
isn't that like their first, or it's the double LP, right? Also, we get that too, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I just like it's weird because like I think Aftershock has some more interesting dynamic guitar work going on there. Where I don't know if he was trying to give it like a Fast Eddie return to that type of like blues, rock sound, but I feel like there's more of it on those last two albums.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyway, just, I've been listening to that, and it's not very good in my opinion. It's kind of like whatever. But
I'm a big fan. Everyone, I've done a Motörhead like ranking the albums video, and I put that pretty high. I got lambasted, as you can imagine, and also praised. It's like it's a bit of a divider, I would say, that one.
It's not terrible. Like I can see why a lot of people like it. Like it's pretty heavy, but I guess I don't really need Motörhead to be like heavy. Clearly, after talking about Another Perfect Day, but that's just me.
It's funny you chose too much. Just as a closing shot, there's that album, and then there's that self-titled Killing Joke, which came out around the same time, I want to say.
I think that was in 3, right?
Yeah.
That album's good though. I think that album's great.
Well, it's another one. What Japanese punks were telling me, man, have you heard the new Killing Joke and all this? I was like, no, new Killing Joke. What are you talking about?
That one's heavy. Dave Grohl's on that, right?
Yeah, yes, that's right. Just those two records kind of remind me of each other in a weird kind of way. But
yeah, I mean, music was so bad in 2004, like the larger like metal rock scene, where I can, comparatively, this is probably. It's still Motörhead, and it's still better than most.
That could be one of the reasons why I liked it so much when it came out. I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, that's amazing. 2 Motörhead records in the same episode. Wow. Eric, what you got?
All right, so excuse me. Next one is another kind of show and tell. Like it's not really like a braggy thing, but it's kind of like a weird one. That I believe I also bought a Sorry State.
Hey, there's down here.
A 10-inch single of the Clash, Train in Vain.
Huh.
The same program on both sides. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like just too deaf now. It's like hard for me to like, even like when people talk about like, oh, things just sound better analog or digital or CD or vinyl or whatever. This is truly the most good sounding vinyl record I own. Well, I put this on, and it's like the most beautiful version of Train in Vain I've ever heard in my fucking life.
I love that song.
I mean, and I think it's a DJ single. And I don't know, Daniel, maybe you can speak to this. Like, people have given me some theories that, like, well, one, it's a DJ single, so, like, the grooves don't need to be as, like, tight, and, it can occupy more. But also people have told me that the radio singles got pressed first, perhaps, or something.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like even though most DJ singles, you see them as 12 inches, not 10 inches.
Yeah, it's a 10 same program on both sides.
Yeah.
And but I'm just not getting that. Like, it's the best sounding record I own. It's kind of weird that I love listening to this. I'll play it over and over again because I think it sounds so good.
Wow.
Yeah. Not only is it one of my favorite Clash songs, which I was thinking about, I've been really busy the past couple of days, Mike and Pat, but I saw someone mention the Clash, and that sparked my interest. So I was like, ooh, I know what I'm going to do.
Yes, yeah, okay, yes. Yesterday I was in this craft beer pub, and I was messaging. I thought I was only messaging Pat, but I was actually messaging the whole chat group. I was like, yes, now they're playing like the Pogues, and now they're playing like the Clash, and now they're playing Elvis. I just thought I was only talking to Pat. I looked back.
I saw the word the Clash, and I was like, oh, okay.
Whoops! I was like, sorry. I was like punishing everyone with my random like craft beer pub thoughts. But yeah, it was good. They had like, I guess they had like some like punk radio station piping through the shopping arcade, so it's kind of cool to hear the Clash on a Friday afternoon in a Japanese shopping mall, while drinking a pint of craft beer. So
that's a really nice experience, actually.
It was good. It was a good time, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I love the Clash. I love this song. I think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever written.
Yeah, I feel like the Clash. They're another band like sort of like Bad Religion. Like, I went through a phase where I was just like, I love this. This is me. And then I just like put it down at some point. But I still just love Mick Jones songs. Like, it's almost like Joe Strummer's whole end of the Clash. I could kind of take or leave at this point. But there's like so many Mick Jones songs that are just like bangers.
And it's crazy. I didn't even realize till a couple of years ago. And so many of my favorites are Mick Jones songs. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very recently.
Oh.
Yeah, Joe definitely steals the spotlight most of the time for that band.
Charismatic guy. Yeah. But Mick Jones had a way with the melody, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So why was Bad Audio Dynamite? Big Audio, Bad Audio Dynamite. Big Audio Dynamite.
I've not really heard much of that I liked.
Good. Lucky. Good for you.
I remember the singles. Like,
all right, last round. Let's do a cheers. We'll get to the last round. Bad, yeah. Big Audio Dynamite. There you go. Maybe I'll check them out again. It's It's been a while since I've listened to some BAD. Right, let's wait till Daniel gets back.
Oh, is he going to pee?
Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna get a beer. Whoa. Whoa. Oh,
there he is.
quick.
There you go. All right. It's been a good show so far. Lots of good picks. 2 Motörhead records. That's No, it's great. It's good. Yeah. No, it's great. Because they're really different to each other as well. It's interesting to see those two like back to back.
One of my friends joined the Peace Corps, the dentist that sang for Crosslaws, and he said that he was just going to bring Motörhead with he did it in Turkmenistan. So he lived in Turkmenistan for 2 years, and his plan was to just bring Motörhead, only listen to Motörhead for 2 entire years.
Huh? But why?
just to absorb it, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot going on actually. If you really, All right, round 5. So, okay, one of my favorite records from this year was that Geld LP, Australian band. Yeah, Currency Castration. It's on Relapse. We talked about that in another episode. I don't know. I feel like that is another band that kind of really went to the next level with that record. I love it. I'm a huge fan. It's like it's ugly. It's like ugly and psychedelic, and it's definitely like influenced by De Kreutzen, and they told me that it was actually. But so after I heard that, I was like, I wonder if there's any like other bands that are doing like this kind of like ugly punk, ugly hardcore that makes you kind of feel sick when you listen to it. You know, it's like makes you feel seasick. And I found one, and it's totally by accident. And they're also an Australian band. And I found this because I was like looking on Punk and Destroy. And it's just like they've got their whole archive on there, right? It's a bit of an antiquated like website. So I would have kept going back and back and back, and eventually I came across this thing from it's from 2020, and I saw the description, and the description's hilarious. It's like it's contemporary Australian hardcore that keeps boosting and bursting, soaked in psychedelic noise with a violent atmosphere, a bad dream. Which is that this is so true, because it's like listening. It's like being in a fever dream. This record with 13 songs, blah 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 blah. So okay,
can I guess what it is?
Yeah,
is it Oily Boys?
20 points to the man at the back. There you go. Oily Boys. what a name!
Didn't you do one of the records on one of the other shows, Mike?
Recently?
No.
Did I? No, this is the first time. Yeah, I think. Am I in a fever dream now? I'm pretty sure I haven't showed this yet. I probably showed something that's like maybe similar, or like another Australian band. I don't know. Let me know if I've shown.
Maybe post it on the.
I could have put it on the interwebs. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. That was probably it. Man, this is fucking ugly, man. It's like
it's a cool record.
It's so good. Yeah. It's just like that description was just perfect. It's like it is like being like in this horrible like fever dream, and there's like lots of repetition, and it's like churning and like fucking violent and nasty and ugly and mean. It's like nothing nice about it, and yet it's very original. It's like it doesn't really sound like anyone else. It's a bit of like noise rock, I want to say, but don't let that put you off. This is a hardcore punk record. Great, just great stuff. I wish more bands were doing what the Oily Boys did or are doing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Daniel, you're a fan?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I remember thinking there was some like Cro-Mags influence in there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
but like psychedelic is like psychedelic Cro-Mags.
Yeah,
quite a description.
Yeah, I mean, it's super like memorable too. It's like, and it's one of those ones where you can't like after you listen to it, it's like it's hard to know what to play next. Because like nothing really sounds like this, so it's like, okay, I'm just going to watch Netflix for the rest of the night because it's like nothing can like match this. It's crazy. It's so good, and it's like it's 3 years old. Yeah, it's great, classic. The title. That's funny you said Cro-Mags, because this record's called Crow Memory Grin, and I think there's a lot of lyrics about like like machismo and like the patriarchy and stuff like that on here. It's great record.
What label is that on again, Mike?
It's on a record label I know nothing about called Cool Death Records. Oh,
I've heard of that.
Static Shock put it out. Static Shock put it out.
No,
In the
okay.
States. There you go. It's a
Cool.
Static Shock. That's a good label. It kind of fits well on that label, I want to say.
Yeah, I hear about that band. I haven't checked them out.
I mean, you know,
the artwork looks like. I mean, I don't.
How about it?
I'm not trying to criticize it, but it looks like something I wouldn't be interested in. Like it looks like a Team style record, like a Keith Haring type of like art.
Yeah.
Well, that and the name of the band, it's like I wouldn't have bought this if I saw it. So I only bought it because I saw that Punk and Destroy like description of it, and I was like, that's the record for me, you know. So
yeah, it sounds really interesting. It's definitely
great.
Different, like from the description how you're describing it. Sounds like something that's a lot different than other stuff that's out there right now.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
Good stuff. But yeah, Oily Boys. Who knows why they chose that name? There's probably a reason why they chose that name. So, there you go. All right, Daniel, what's your last pick of the day?
I don't know what I'm gonna choose. I don't know. Like, which of these things do? No one cares about this shit.
Do you think anybody cares about the Oily Boys?
I care about the Oily Boys.
Everybody should care about the Oily Boys.
All right. I'll go with this one because I probably listened to it the most. I feel like people have had to have shown this record before.
Yes,
right?
me.
Yeah. Man, can't stop listening to it though. It's just like happy. It makes me feel so good when I put it on. It reminds me of like being a teenager and like falling in love with punk and like singing songs at the top of my lungs. Like it's
nice description.
Yeah.
It's that perfect like melding. It's like punk but with indie rock, the old indie rock that we're talking about, like from the 80s. Just that perfect match of both those styles.
Yeah. I'm so picky about stuff like that because I feel like a lot of times bands try to do that, but they're not like great songwriters or great at hook, and then you just end up with this sort of like soupy, doesn't really do anything, but like they have good hooks. Yeah. And that's the best songs on this are actually a BBC recording too. It's a Janice Long session, and it's the fidelity is really great, and the band's just on fire. I mean,
because there's another version of that record, a compilation, which is similar, but that's the only place where you can find that Janice Long session. Yeah. So that's the reason to pick that one up. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Swiss, 1980s Switzerland, 3 all-girl band.
Yeah, it looks like they had like a bunch of lineup shifts. Like
they did,
or at least a bunch of different bass players, I think, or I don't know, one of them.
Yes, great stuff.
Are they still around?
No,
you guys do?
No, I don't think so.
Long gone,
long gone. I would say. All right, Patrick, what's your last pick of the day?
Cool. I feel like I'm just total caveman mode. I've been, hardcore Motörhead. Nothing fancy here. Like I don't even know what to say about this one. I don't think I need to.
Good local band.
Yeah. This one, I feel like these demos on this 12-inch, like I'm thankful that this was pressed on vinyl because some of these recordings are some of the best recordings, maybe you'd say. Maybe not my favorite, but especially that consuming shit mod pollution demo, like that pre Under the Ashes demo. I was talking to a friend like a few months back, and we were talking about like what's like the what's the best recording or some of the best recordings. And well, actually, I think I was listening to this, and he was like, "What's this? Like, what session is this?" And I was like, "It's that consuming shit demo." Like, to me at least, I don't know like the full context, but it's basically like the Under the Ashes songs recorded. You know, it seems like they did it in 2001, so it's like a year or some months before they actually recorded that 12-inch. And I don't know, those I still like the 12-inch more all day personally, but like the takes of the songs on that demo tape are amazing. You know, no surprise, like this era of the band, like that line of the band was totally on fire. All the other demos are great too, like the CDC demo.
CDC.
Is really good. Counterattack. I mean, all four of them are good. I think the Ray demo is maybe the rougher sounding one. But it's cool. I feel like this record is harder to find now. You don't really see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least here it was done on 540 over here, which I don't think really does anything anymore.
Timmy's label. Right?
I don't think there are any new records on that label, so it's not like this is still available. But it's cool. I mean, you know, for anybody out there that maybe I don't want to say slept on it, just never picked it up or doesn't know it exists, because I guess some people forget that some of these demos exist or they're on vinyl. You know, definitely worth picking up. I mean, especially like at least for the booklet. There's just tons of cool flyers in here, and the layouts for the tapes and stuff. Like I have a few of the tapes.
Me too. I used to. I remember like literally getting them like from Jackie, like as they were coming out.
Like I have the tapes here, but the vinyl, you know, it's mastered for vinyl. It just sounds so much better. Even though a couple of these sound really good. But definitely, if you have any interest in that band and Prompted at all, you know, definitely track down a copy of that one, because it's just punishing.
It's funny, like I just say, I mean, that band had just gotten started when I moved here, and so they've been here like that the whole time that I've like kind of lived in Japan. They're still going, and what we were talking about, so they just played like last week, so they've been going quite a while now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, seems like they're playing new songs, writing new songs, and see videos. I think the new songs are great. You know, like they still got it. Some different members, but I mean, just a absolutely crushing band.
Yeah, as I said, good local band. I mean, one of the best, really. I mean, it's so funny, just like just to have them as one of your local punk bands, and they're so loved everywhere. You know.
What would you say your top three? Not ordered or anything, but what are your top three locals?
Nightmare, Warhead. Let's just say Framted. While we're talking about Framted. All right, Eric. Last record.
Boy. I get to close it out. Hey?
Close it up with
some fucking God. Once again, you guys are gonna like this shit. Thank you, Mo. Guess what it fucking is? It's fucking Green Day.
Band. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Green Day Insomniac, their fourth album, the one after Dookie. It is, in my opinion, it's my favorite. I think it's darker sounding. I think it's certainly like more depressing. I can't like really think of a song on the album that is truly like uplifting or has any like positive message at all. It comes in an era where Billy Joe was like hooked on speed, I believe, and he just had a kid, and then like, you know, Dookie came out, and like the East Bay scene was like, fuck you guys, he sold out. So he's fucking mad, you know. He's upset because he lost all his friends. He's like still like filthy rich.
He's a mad millionaire.
He was in an interesting place when this album was written, and it is so very good. I have this character tattooed on me.
Wow,
that thing, the X-ray
What is
machine.
that? Oh, okay.
You got a OG pressing?
Yeah, I believe this is the OG. I have the OG. I have a regular reissue and the 20th or 15th anniversary one.
Is this the $600 repress with the 6 LP worth of outtakes?
Is that about that, or is
wait? What are you talking about?
Isn't that like about another different one?
Sorry, I didn't see the comment. But yeah, once again, I part of me wants to like apologize for picking things that are truly like, if you want to get inside my brain, this is like what it looks like, you know. I love this album. I still listen to it weekly, and I probably will for the rest of my life. And it's the best Green Day album, in my opinion. Thank you, Jordan. Happy to help.
I was on here the last time Eric was on, right?
I didn't do any Green Day. I resisted.
Oh, okay.
Don't fight it. Yeah, wow, was it Winston Smith? That's Winston Smith. Winston Smith.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah. I actually haven't heard that one. What was the one? What was the one before that?
I've never listened to it.
Dookie is the one before that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No, yeah, Dookie's the one before it.
Okay.
Yeah, American Idiot's my album.
You know, I was going to make a joke. You were talking about 2004. American Idiot's 2004.
Yeah,
I've got a Green Day story. Like, they stayed at our squat on their first ever UK tour. Twice. They liked it so much they came back after they finished. They stayed at our house, and they stayed at Christmas. They stayed the whole Christmas in our like punk squat in Bath. We went out drinking one night, and I had Billy Joe in a shopping cart.
Yeah.
In a shopping cart at the top of a very steep hill, and we were drinking, and we were like, "Shall we just let him go?" And we were like, "Yeah, just let him go." And I just like let go of the shopping cart, and he went like racing like down this like super steep hill, and then like crashed like into this part, went head over heels into this like ditch or a hedge, and fortunately he survived and lived to tell the tale and made that magnificent record that we see before us this evening.
Billy
Joe in the shopping cart.
Yes, I put Billy Joe in a shopping cart, shoved him down the slope, and he didn't die. There you go. They were great. It was a great time. That was a great week. That was one of the best Christmases of my life. The Christmas that Green Day stayed at our squat.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm glad that we're talking about it. Cool.
See, it sparked some conversation, right? There you go. And on that bombshell, let's finish up tonight. It's been a great episode. Had a good time. Was that an animal I just saw behind you?
Oh, yeah, that's my roommate's dog, and also my roommate is coming home with me now.
All right. Let's sign off. Let me just announce... this is story. Let me just announce next week's...
Say hi to everyone on the internet.
Hi, hello. Next week's episode.
That's Sarah.
What's going on? Hang on. Let me... Hey, what's up? Let me just announce next week's episode. The man himself, Bill Haas, who we talked about. Was that off air or on air? Did we talk about him like on air or off air? I forget. On air, right?
I think it was on air.
It was on air. Yeah. Bill Haas coming on. Veteran Bill Chamberlain and Ed Foster from Audacious Madness Records, and it's going to be a good one. Oh, there you go. Hi, Sarah. Says Jeff. So tune in. It's next Friday, December 8th. 10 p.m. EST. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay healthy and stay, to quote Motörhead, stay